All right, on this episode of Gameball NFL Endzone, we're going to do a quick recap of everything that went down in Week 1 around the National Football League in the top 4 matchups. Starting with your squad, the New England Patriots would win over the Houston Texans by a score of 27-20. The Kansas City Chiefs, they would triumph over the Los Angeles Chargers. Tyreek Hill. That's all I gotta say. Tyreek Hill. He's a baller.
Fast.
He's kind of quick. It's kind of.
I saw him out on Forrest Gump one time.
They would win by a score of 38-28. The Dallas Cowboys fall short against the Carolina Panthers. They will fall short by a score of 16-8.
Queen City Kitties.
So Carolina Panthers. And then lastly, the Green Bay Packers would win by a score of 24-23 over the Chicago Bears. So we're actually gonna talk about this going into Week 1. Mike, I want to start with you. What did we learn from Week 1 around the National Football League?
We learned that the Cleveland Browns didn't lose the first game of the season. That they actually tied. I was rooting for her to get the win, but it's the Cleveland Browns.
Best start since 2004. No, seriously.
I know, but they start good. Then the curse comes back to Cleveland.
I got a great stat about that game. I just want to, before I forget about it. Since the Cleveland Browns came back into the league in 1999, Pittsburgh Steelers had 6 turnovers. The Browns had 1. That's a +5 turnover differential. That's the 137th time that has happened since the Cleveland Browns returned to the NFL in 1999. Those teams that win the turnover battle by +5 or more, their record is 132-4-1. You know the Browns are responsible for the 1. They're also responsible for 2 of the 4 losses. 5 times it's happened out of 137, and 60% of them belong to Cleveland. Wow. If that's not the most Browns thing ever. Anyway, if I go ahead, I just want to throw it out there.
Oh, you're good. But, like I was saying, it's Cleveland. They're cursed. They can't finish games at the end. But I feel like 1 or 2 more plays, they could have won the game. Of course, the blocked field goal and the rainy weather at the end, which didn't make a difference. Once they had that interception, I thought it was game over at overtime. It was either a fumble or interception, one of those. It was he was taking it back. I was like, oh, Cleveland's got it. Then a shoestring tackle. I felt like that Cleveland should have chucked it in, maybe the end zone 1 or 2 more times, maybe run the ball and give your kicker much more room at field goal range to try to kick the winning field goal. And also, the Dallas Cowboys is always the Dallas Cowboys. I keep telling the Dallas Cowboys people, they need to put APP out for the Dallas Cowboys because they always fall back to what I was saying last year. The Dallas Cowboys are a bad luck in the making. They start feeling good about themselves until that black cat from Pet Sematary of Stephen King movie come out and curse them and keeps on happening. They always find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. It's either on the field or off the field, stealing cologne, all that, and people can't stay off that. Ooh, we ganja and all that. So that's part of the Dallas Cowboys. I try to tell you.
They need to bring Jimmy Johnson back.
Yes. And also learned that the Bears got a legit defense. They stole Khalil Mack for the Raiders, and I don't know what the hell the Raiders was doing, but that was dumb trading your best player. I don't care who you are. You could have upped a little bit more money up to pay that man. And you didn't. The Chicago Bears did, and they got a reward for that. He balled out. He had a fumble recovery, a sack, and a pick 6. Now, you can't tell me that you couldn't pay $1 or $2 more million to have that on your team. He was the best player on the team, man. He was the best player that night. Balled out himself. And the Bears would have won and then shoot himself in the foot. He would have been the player of the game.
And maybe Coach Gruden would have got a Week 1 win. Just point that out as well. I'm just saying. But hey, Cowboys fans, Look, don't forget, it is only week 1. We still got plenty of football left to be played.
Yeah, his schedule is brutal.
It is a bad schedule, but don't lose faith yet. We're gonna find out. Luke, I want to ask you, what did you learn from week 1?
Russell Wilson is still running for his life. Said the LA Chargers still cannot beat the Chiefs. There still has not been one upset in the history of the league in week 1. These are professionals. They're all pros. It's week 1. There were no upsets this past week because, case in point,
We was hoping for the Browns.
Case in point, the Chiefs were actually an underdog to the Chargers. Well, if the Chiefs go 11-5, 12-4, the Chargers will only win 7 or 8 games. Was it really an upset? And they won now 9 in a row. No upsets in week 1 of the NFL. And last but not least, the NFL either needs to be on board with NFL player safety or not. If a guy gets concussed, he's on the sideline, he's out for the rest of the game, he can't make it out the field with his own power, he's out for the rest of the game. So you mean to tell me that if an NFL quarterback suffers what appears to be a severe knee injury and is carted off the field before halftime, he can come back into the game? I'm not saying that's wrong, but I mean, find a balance. If you're concerned about player safety, act like it. Do something. Don't allow one to return and not the other. So, I mean, NFL player safety is and always has been a joke, and that's what I learned week 1.
I mean, I would agree. I mean, there's a difference, head trauma compared to an injured knee. But I mean, if you hurt your knee hard enough, yeah, you could also lose your career that way. So I definitely understand where you're going. Double standard there. I mean, would be a safe.
Yeah, but knee.
I get it. Football guys are going to get hurt week 1. Guys are going to cramp, whatever else. Guys are going to get sprained ankles, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, it's they need to find a more equal balance on player safety.
And I agree with you there, but I say a knee injury is more worse than concussion. If I was an NFL player, I'd rather deal with a concussion, take about a week to get over, than an ACL tear. That could be like a career and permanent ending injury. I'm not saying concussion is permanent ending because studies have found CTE and all that, but I'd rather deal with a concussion than an ACL tear.
I mean, I'd have to agree because, yeah, like you said, recovery time is definitely a whole lot different. They both have long-term effects. There's no question about that. I mean, I definitely agree, and that's definitely just one of many things that I mean, the game of football in general, not just the NFL. Needs to strongly address. So I would agree with both of you guys. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we are going to discuss the top 4 matchups for you to keep your eye out on in week 2. Continue to stay right here. The one and only Gameball NFL Endzone. We'll be right back. Top 4 matchups we got to keep your eye out on going into week 2 of the National Football League. We're going to start with the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Mike, I want to start with you. What do you think about this matchup?
It's going to be a dogfight until the end, or unless somebody gets re-injured again. But we'll never know. But I say it'll be a good matchup. Minnesota Vikings showed you why they were the #1 defense in the NFL. They made San Francisco 49 offense look silly. Now, for the Packers, Aaron Rodgers showed you why he's Aaron Rodgers. He would know what Luke alluded to about the injuries, but when he came back on one leg, balled out. Because the Green Bay Packers offense is the heartbeat of Aaron Rodgers. No other quarterback can go with that. And that's kind of like the problem. They don't have a true backup when Aaron Rodgers gets injured. They rely too much on him, and I think sometimes that's unfair. But he is that heartbeat and soul of the Green Bay Packers offense. Now, the Packers defense, I'm concerned about their pass rushers. Clay Matthews is not the same anymore. Let's just be honest. ever since he dealt with injuries here and there, he hasn't been the same. And their pass rush is suspect. Now, they need to work on that or get a little bit more help. And the offense of Minnesota with Kirk Cousins, it just makes them better. So we'll find out and see who wins this game. But I'm going to say the last team that has the ball last and doesn't turn over and make mistakes wins the game.
Packers are a 1-point home favorite. The Packers, I could have mentioned this last segment, are still 52 dudes and some guy named Aaron Rodgers. This is why I think Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time right here. I mean, if he was, coaching the Packers and they lose Aaron Rodgers, he'd got something out of the back up there. He would have got something out of Brett Hundley last year. Yeah, Packers probably would have at least, qualified for a wild card or maybe lost the tie for a while. They would have been just, straight up eliminated. I don't trust McCarthy as a coach there. I never really have. I'm getting off topic now, but another reason I think Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time because his assistant Matt Patricia's off to an awful start in Detroit as well. But that's another topic for another time. This is the first time that Anthony Barr and Aaron Rodgers are going to share the same field together, and Aaron Rodgers is already going into this game week 2 at well less than 100%. So if he couldn't get out of his wake, on 2 healthy legs a year ago, it's going to happen Sunday. Going to be interesting to find out. Moreover, I think the Vikings are right here with the Packers too. They've won a good. They've won. They swept them last year. They've won, I think, 4 of the last 5. Vikings are living at least at the moment rent free in the Packers' head right now.
I like that analogy. But the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings, no question, this is always one of the greatest rivalries in football, no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
The second matchup, Luke, I'm going to start with you on this one, will be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Luke, what do you think about this matchup?
Steelers are a 5-point home favorite. Chiefs have not won at Pittsburgh since 1986, so it's been a while.
31 years.
Yeah. A fun fact on this is the Kansas City Chiefs. I was looking this up the other day. When they went to Super Bowls 1 and 4, they didn't play a single playoff game at home. I mention this because their only home victory in franchise history was a 1993-94 wild card in overtime against the Steelers. So a little bit of trivia right there. So old Pat Mahomes, his numbers are a little inflated. The 4 touchdowns. I say a little inflated because I don't even remember when they did that kind of. They scored the 2 touchdowns at the goal line where they put the guys in motion, did the fake, and he just kind of threw the ball, kind of jump ball style like a basketball. Those both got counted as touchdown passes. But man, those other 2 touchdown passes, oh, how pretty were those? I mean, even when he got those incomplete, he looks good. We could do a whole podcast on Pat Mahomes. I wouldn't have any complaint about that either. So this could be a legit passing of the torch game in the NFL from Big Ben to Pat Mahomes. It really could.
Well, I meant to say 32, not 31 years since the Chiefs won in Pittsburgh Steelers. Also, I wouldn't say Pat Mahomes show. I would say the Tyreek Hill show. The way you start off the NFL season with a 91 punt return for a touchdown, that's how you start with a bang on 91 yards. Then you had a rushing touchdown. Then you have a passing touchdown. I mean, somebody's fantasy was lovely last week when they had Tyreek Hill. I wish I had him on my fantasy. I was 1 pick away, but somebody got him before me. That was another subject for another day. But it was just a Tyreek Hill show. It really was. And I'm more concerned. I'm not really concerned about the offense of the Chiefs. I'm more concerned about the defense because they let some plays slip away, and they let the Chargers get back to this game until Phillip Rivers threw an interception. They took advantage of it and scored points. So they really got to work on their defense, especially that secondary. That secondary is anemic at times. Pittsburgh Steelers. While we'll reiterate the last subject, they got a lot of work to do, offense, defense, special teams. And they got to somehow, some way, find a way to get Le'Veon Bell signed. Why he's not signed yet? He is the most important piece of the puzzle to the Steelers offense.
They got to protect the ball, too. They don't protect the ball. They're going to go 0-15-1 or 0-14-2 and tie against Cleveland again.
Well, it's just that defensively, your secondary is still horrible. Offensively, you got to find a way to distribute the ball more, get the running game going. Well, the running game was sensational, but you got to find a way.
The kid James Conner did all right. I don't know about that haircut, but his game was all right.
But you got to find a way to give Antonio Brown the ball more. If you can do that,
Absolutely.
they'll be fine.
Shouldn't be a torrential downpour this week either. At least I wouldn't think so. Although Pittsburgh is on the East Coast, they get the whole little hurricane thing. I think it's all south of Pittsburgh, so we'll have to see about that. One thing I want to point out about the Chiefs here is he was mentioning the great start that Tyreek Hill was off to. We started with Kareem Hunt last year, but you look at Kareem Hunt's first 8 games compared to his last 8 games. How can Kansas City get at least a performance similar to that all 16 games out of Tyreek Hill? That's going to be their challenge.
Absolutely. This is probably one of the more offensively talented Kansas City Chiefs teams I think we've seen, at least in a few years. But
probably one of the more offensively talented Andy Reid teams.
Absolutely, and that's another thing as well.
I mean, he has the team with McNabb and Deshaun Jackson there in Philadelphia and the running back Westbrook. But Mahomes, Hill, and Kareem Hunt, that's probably the best crop to come along for an Andy Reid coach team since then, yeah.
Absolutely, and this is a great test. This is basically the Patrick Mahomes show me something sort of pretty much, and you're playing against Pittsburgh. So I mean, if he gets the job done and he has anything similar to game one, I mean, definitely you would imagine like that hype around him that has been surrounding it. Does this also kind of make it seem like, okay, a lot of people that were questioning why would you pick him over Deshaun Watson, for example? Does this kind of slowly kind of say, okay, well, this is the reason why, and they're kind of starting to look a little bit better, like, okay, this is why we chose this kid over Deshaun
Well,
Watson.
we'll have to find out more as the weeks go in the NFL season.
I made a comment to a friend of mine. I think when both them guys' careers are over with, I think it's been like, no offense to the Chiefs here, but I think Deshaun Watson's going to be like the John Elway of the '83 draft, where he gets a couple of Super Bowls, and I think Mahomes, he's going to probably be like the Marino of that draft. Stats galore, but got to do something in the postseason, so we'll see.
All right, Chiefs and Steelers. Actually, Mike, I think it's only fitting that we send this one to you. Of course, it's your team. It's got to be the New England Patriots taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mike, break it down.
Well, for the Patriots, offensively, Tom Brady's going to be Tom Brady. They'll find a way to move the ball. Even though Julian Edelman has served a 4-game suspension, they still balled out. You still have Grump if he stays healthy. The offensive line is intact. They gave up 1 or 2 sacks, which that's pretty good. That's okay. But the offensive line got to work better there. And defensively, I like this defense. I mean, everybody's back healthy. They're more aggressive. They blitz more in the coverages. I'm like, where was this last year? And you have the new coordinator, Brian Flores, is calling plays. I just like this playing style of being more aggressive and trying to find their weakness from last season with what they do to bring it this year. So I like that they had 3 sacks, 2 turnovers, and right now they're playing some good ball. For the Jaguars, offensively, they were hurt a little bit by Fournette's hamstring injury. He didn't return to the game. So if he doesn't forego Yeldon's been playing good. You still have concerns about Blake Bortles and what he's going to bring to the table. And defense is still going to be defense. But they did allow a 100-yard rusher, and they did allow a 100-yard receiver. Saquon Barkley had 105 yards rushing. Odell had 110 yards receiving. So those are concerns going against the Patriots for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Watching the Patriots last week, it looked pretty obvious to me that Deshaun Watson didn't play in the preseason. I mean, it was he certainly could have used. I understand he's coming off the injury, whatever. But you got to protect the franchise. But I'd like to think he's going to play a little bit better going forward. Be real interesting to see what happens. I think that the Texans get another shot at the Patriots in the playoffs this year. But there's still a long way to go between now and then. Mike covered a lot of things with the Jaguars there. Beckham, he averaged about 10 yards a catch as long as 24. They had a nice little bracket coverage going on there, nice little umbrella coverage, keeping everything underneath. He got his yards and his catches. Jacksonville tackled very well, though. Sans the Saquon Barkley game there. So, home game for Jacksonville, that's going to go a long way for them. They're going to have a big chip on their shoulder from the AFC Championship a year ago, where they blew the 20-10 lead in the fourth quarter. Different teams this year though. Jacksonville doesn't. They don't have the quote unquote Allen brothers that they did a couple years. Allen Robinson for the Bears. He was about the only bright spot offensively for them the other day against the Packers. But yeah, it's going to be a good early test for the Patriots here. I think it's a good thing that they're playing a team as talented as Jacksonville that kind of stepped up to them last year, and it's a road game, because if they were playing like a lesser team, there's that possibility they could be not that Belichick would ever let this happen, but the Patriots do play at Detroit week 3 Sunday night against the former DC Matt Patricia, which could be a quote unquote look ahead game, but still challenge on the road against a good team. That won't happen.
All right, New England and Jacksonville. That's going to take us to, like we just mentioned, the New York Giants, and they will take on Mike's other favorite football team, the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to start with you on this one. A talented New York Giants offense, so to speak, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. What do you like about this matchup?
It is his favorite team to hate, so you're not wrong. It's basically the second coming of Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker. Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley. Same division. We'll be seeing these two share the field for years to come, hopefully. Cowboys, they played against a stiff defense last week in Carolina. I think Carolina's going to hold a lot of teams to at least, statistic-wise, to what they did with the Cowboys there. The Dallas Cowboys are not the worst team that Carolina will play this year. Panthers look like the real deal. They got a big game with the Falcons coming up this week that I can't wait to see too. That's going to be another big-time game. We'll probably, if that game plays out like I think it will, we'll probably be recapping it next week. It's good NFC South showdown right there, but this is a Sunday night game. It's like there's a mandatory clause in the NBC contract to have at least one Cowboys-Giants game on Sunday Night Football. They get that one Sunday night game in every year, it seems like. So, looking forward to this one though. I don't think the Cowboys are as sure of a tackling team as the Jaguars are. So if they can get 10, 11 catches though, OBJ again. Yeah, he might be able to break one. If he can break one, they play that soft D, hit him with a fly route. I think he may not have 11 for 111 again, but I think he'd have a couple of touchdowns though, which is actually even better for him.
Well, for the Giants, they let this game slip away, and one reason why, because special teams must punt. You have to get the special teams fixed. I believe that if the Giants would have the ball last, they could probably win this game. But you have to get the special team fixed. The offense was rolling, even though they didn't put a lot of points. It was just the statistics with Saquon Barkley. He had a breakout game, especially with the 62-yard run for a touchdown. Odell Beckham was Odell Beckham. He had his yards, had his catches. But you got to address the right tackle. Flowers is not the guy. His techniques and his movement, all that is just horrible. So that is a bust right there for the Giants. They got to cut him, trade him, get rid of him. They have to issue that right tackle. But otherwise, their offensive line is legit besides the right tackle. Defensively, you got to be better. They're coming off a new scheme. I get that and all that. But they're going to get better as the season progresses. And the Dallas Cowboys, the same old Dallas Cowboys, can't do nothing, can't win nothing, can't finish games. Offensively, you have to score points. And Jerry Jones didn't do Dak Prescott no favor by getting any weapons in the offseason. Jason Garrett's retired. You cut Dez Bryant. There's your two primary targets there. They're not getting the ball down the field. Defensively, they played well enough, but they couldn't finish against the Panthers at the end.
Big time game for the Cowboys. They're at Seattle week 3. They need this game. They need this game.
All right, Giants and Cowboys will lead us into our predictions going into week 2. Mike, I want to start with you. Who do you like between the Packers and the Vikings?
I'm going with Minnesota. That's their defense, and they're going to force Aaron Rodgers into a lot of uncomfortable situations. He's playing on one leg, and offensively, I feel like Kirk Cousins will be able to move the ball down, take advantage of their weakness, especially that pass rush of that inefficient pass rush of the Packers. So those two boil down to things, and the Vikings are a better team, and I think they finally exposed the Packers and got wins over them. So I'm going to roll with the Vikings to win a score of 17-10.
I like the Vikings too. If ever there's a time to go to Green Bay, you want it to be the second week of the year, not the second to last week of the year like it was last year for them. I mean, they ultimately won the game, but Rodgers was also on IR at that point as well. So I believe it was like 16 degrees that game. Going to be far from 16 degrees this Sunday in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is entering the game at less than 100%. He's playing, and you made a good point about Cousins. I think Cousins is just going to get better as the season progresses. Generally speaking, you see a team, get a quarterback week one. Said quarterback kind of struggles. That take Case Keenum in Denver. He did 3-4 picks against the Seahawks. Still squeezed the win out there, but that'll probably be his only 3 interception game of the year though. So same for the Vikings here. I just think the thing that worries me about the Vikings and a lot of other defensive teams, they don't really play from behind very well, so they got to get a lead early. They get an early lead. I think the Vikings are going to hang on and win. I got them going 27-24.
I'm kind of conflicted, but at the same time, if there's rather a good time to actually steal a win in Green Bay, this would be that. And it is alluding to the point that they are playing against an unhealthy Aaron Rodgers, so that obviously plays a huge factor. I like the Vikings as well. I got to go with the Vikings as well. I'm gonna say 28-14. I like the Vikings in that matchup. Matchup number 2, Luke, I'm going to start with you. Them Kansas City Chiefs, Pittsburgh Steelers, who you got?
I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm right on Mahomes on this one. We just, in the college ranks, we just saw Kentucky in 31 years of futility at Florida. Chiefs haven't won there since '86, but they got Mahomes, they got Hill, they got Hunt. I don't think that their D concerns me, but I don't think that the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially without Le'Veon Bell, can fully exploit the Chiefs' defense the way that other teams in the league can. Going to be a lot of scoring in this one. Don't really know what the forecast is going to be. I kind of joked this year that every Chiefs game is going to be 44-40. Just don't know if they're going to win or not. So these are going to be points of plenty, though, similar to the Chargers game last week. I'll go with the Chiefs, though, 38-34.
I'm going with the opposite. I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are coming off a tie game, and Mike Tomlin in the press conference was not pleased with their performance. Their performance was piss poor. They almost let Cleveland win, and with a tie, good thing that T.J. Watt blocked the field goal. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs secondary is not going to hold up against Antonio Brown, the best receiver in the game. So I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win a close one, score of 27-20.
I want to say the Chiefs in this one because remember what happened last year when Antonio Brown broke their hearts in Kansas City? Off that tip pass out of nowhere, here comes Antonio Brown and runs it back for the score, which will ultimately win the game. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that Kansas City, they have too much talent on the offensive end. I think the absence of one of their best players is also going to play a factor. This is going to be a great test for Mahomes. I think this right here,
in a very hostile environment.
yes, this is going to speak volumes. I mean, granted that this is only his second professional football game. So, I mean, win or lose, you don't want to play too much into it. This is just the very start of his career, but I just think too much time on the offensive end. I think they will find a way to get it done. I like this by a score of 38-21. Actually, no, let me take it back, 38-27. I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs will find a way to get it done.
The Steelers are going to game plan for Tyreek Hill. Keep an eye out for Travis Kelce. I think he gets his this weekend.
Two talented offensively. Mike, I think it's only right that we send this one off to you. Your beloved New England Patriots taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you got?
It's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a lot of defenses that's going to hold up. I'm rolling with my Patriots. It's not because I'm biased, but can't still trust Blake Bortles. That's been an issue, and which defense is going to show up at the end? I like the Patriots defense to outplay the Jacksonville Jaguars offense, especially with their aggressiveness, and who knows how 100% Leonard Fournette is with a hamstring injury. And plus, you still got Tom Brady and Belichick. They always don't. They don't beat themselves often. They always find a way to make their opponents beat themselves and win at the end. So I'm going to say the score of 2017 Patriots on the road.
All right, look, I'm going to swing this one to you. What do you like in this score with the Patriots and the Jaguars?
So long as Bill Belichick's coaching the New England Patriots, they will not lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know how much longer Belichick's going to be coaching the Patriots for, but next time the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick will not be the coach. So Patriots are going to win 24-20 in my opinion. A misleading 24-20 potentially. Case in point, they had a 24-6 lead over the Texans. You see the final score is 27-20. Oh, it must have been a back and forth game. Not really. I expected something similar here. Maybe a garbage time touchdown for the Jaguars. Not even necessarily garbage time. I just think the Patriots have either a strong first quarter or first half. Get up 10-0, 10-3, something along those lines, and just keep them at bay the rest of the game.
I agree. Part of me is, I'm always kind of skeptical about the Patriots at the beginning of the season. It's like you really don't get the full fine-tuned Patriots, I feel like, until maybe like week 4, week 5, and that's when they begin to start really rolling in as they really kind of get back in tune with themselves. I kind of want to say that could be a close game just because it's week 1, just like with the Kansas City Chiefs, they always find a way in pass to get the best out of the Patriots or in certain teams. This could be another case, but at the same time, I mean, I would agree with you. I think the Patriots will find a way to get this one done. I think they will win by a score. The New England Patriots, that is, I think they'll win 28-24. The final matchup we'll discuss, we'll swing this one to you, the New York Giants and the Cowboys. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the Giants in this one. I think Saquon Barkley going to be he's going to really lessen the load for the Giants offensively this year because, last year, whether Eli was quarterback or not, it was just, it was throw it to Odell and pray. And then Odell got hurt, then they really went to can after that. So they're healthy now, though. We saw the breakaway touchdown Barkley had last week. I think OBJ is going to he's either going to have a 60-yard touchdown or a 60-yard catch and run that sets up a touchdown. He's going to have a big play one way or the other. And I like the Giants to win this one. The Cowboys only put 8 up on it last week against the Panthers. Really kind of bothered. I was thinking 27-24. Might be a little. I'm gonna say 20-14. 20-14 Giants win.
I'm going with the New York Giants. Yes, I am picking the Giants over the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboy fans, are you surprised? Are you entertained? Yes. I'm going with the Giants. I don't trust the Dallas Cowboys defense, especially that secondary. I mean, they play ball, but at the end they didn't play ball. And Saquon Barkley, he's going to have his 100 yards. Odell Beckham's going to ball. But only thing I'm concerned about the Giants, as I alluded to, is that right tackle Eric Flowers, who is a bust. They got to get rid of him. So I think the Giants defense will play better against the Cowboys offense. They don't have receivers. They don't have a tight end. For those reasons, I am picking the Giants to win the score of 24-10.
You know the Cowboys need? Des Bryant.
I mean, we just saying.
I make some tongue-in-cheek comments on the show from time to time. I'm being 100% serious right now. They had Des Bryant. I think he changes everything for them. Who's their premier receiver?
Nobody. None.
You think Des Bryant's going to spend another week on his couch just laughing at the Cowboys?
I think the Giants are going to be putting 8 in the box just daring Des Prescott to beat them.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to make it short and sweet. I like the Giants as well. I think Saquon is going to have a monster game. Odell Beckham's going to be Odell Beckham. I think he's going to have a few highlight touchdowns in this game. I like them winning over the Cowboys. I'm going to give them a score of 28-14 over the Cowboys. And that is going to do it for this edition of Gameball NFL Endzone.
And you can follow us on social media. The links, descriptions were down below. Follow us Facebook, email us, Twitter, Instagram, clothing line, tokendesigns.topeka.com/gameball. That's TOKAN, token, not token. Designstopeka.com/gameball. Follow us on YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit a thumbs up, thumbs down. GCK.GNFLE at TV. Excuse me, GCK.NFLE TV. Excuse me, that's YouTube.
Right, and of course you can find me on Facebook, Marcus Jovell ENT Jenkins, and you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram as well at Jovell ENT.
follow me on Facebook at Luke Hartnett, Twitter at Luke Hartnett2, #TeamFan.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. And once again, that's going to do it for this edition of Gameball NFL Endzone. Until next time, thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for your support as always. Of course, we can't do this without you guys, so thank you so much. Thank you, Continue to subscribe and whatnot, and we'll see you next time.